Alright, hello everyone, and welcome back to the English coverage of the Dota 2 Professional League group stages. This is going to be a best of two series between EHOME and FTD.C. This is certainly going to be an interesting matchup. I'm hoping to see some crazy drafts and new strategies played out, but either way, I'm going to be your caster, Annie, aka Android, and I am being joined by the one and only Mad Kings. What's up, man?
Hello, I'm looking forward to the series as well. Also, as we see already in the draft, we actually have some pretty interesting things coming up from both teams. We have FTD.C going for their, I guess, lifesteal is one of the heroes they favor a lot. It's pretty interesting to see it being first picked, and EHOME instantly going for two heroes that both have ways to deal with him, even if he is using that rage form. So it's gonna be interesting to see what they're gonna pull off with this lifesteal, because I feel like the hero, when you have this amount of control for him when he pops the rage, it's very difficult to be useful on the hero.
Yeah, and I mean, EHOME, they are just such an established team here. They are, old blood. The lineups have changed around a little bit, but still a lot of talent sitting here. And FTD.C are definitely the underdogs here. I think the betting odds are something along the lines of 90-10. But either way, we have seen upsets in this tournament before, and there are some very strong players here on FTD.C. They've pulled off some crazy games. But EHOME not holding back, going straight for a Naga. Now, we've seen Naga played in the safe lane as the traditional hard farmer, you get a Radiance push up the lanes. We've also seen her run twice now in the mid lane. Where do you think she's going to be plopped in?
I actually don't really know. It could be both things. It's a pretty open pick, in my opinion, because it just opens up for EHOME being like a little bit more greedy, trying to go for the split push gaming and not fight into FTD.C, which I like because overall FTD.C seems to be going for a lot of team fight oriented lineups, especially with the Lifestealer, Earthspirit, and now a Lion. They kind of want to be in your face. They want to fight early. And EHOME having a Nagasan means that they're going to be able to split up the map, and they're going to be like trying to dodge the fights, trying to split push and just force FTD.C to take some weird fights, some weird engagements. So it's pretty open. And with the Weaver being picked up as well, honestly, it could be either way, because Weaver has been seen both in the mid lane and the safe lane as well.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of hoping it's Naga mid, but that does leave a lot of room for FTD.C to draft around that. It's an early pickup, and maybe EHOME trying to go for some mind games, or, EHOME might just not even care. They might be able to execute this draft so cleanly that it doesn't matter what FTD.C pick up in exchange.
Yeah, like you said, EHOME is definitely the one that you expect to win this series. That being said, though, FTD.C has already been doing some pretty amazing stuff. They beat CDC 2-0 a few days ago, so they should be able to maybe pull something off if they can just get that game going and do what they want to do with the draft.
Alright, so EHOME, they are going to be looking to pick up most likely some sort of soft carry, I guess, because Naga's going to need all the space and all the room she can get. She's going to be relying so much on getting that early gold. Weaver will be able to take care of himself, so I wouldn't be surprised to see Doom plopped in the offlane and pick up something like an Enigma to really make those mid-game plays.
Could be an option. As for offlaner, there's a lot of them that has already been banned out. They could also try and go for some more initiation, as the Bat Rider is still in the pool. Probably something that FTD.C is thinking about themselves, as we know how Lifesteal plus a Bat Rider can be a pretty nasty combo. They will pick up the Invoker, so a little bit more team fight, a little bit stronger in terms of going to the late game as well. More damage on the board. Pretty interesting though. I'm not sure if we're going to see a Crossworks or an Exalt style Invoker, because both seem pretty good in this case.
Yeah, I mean, if it is up against a Naga, what does the Invoker need to do to maximize his potential in the mid-game?
That's pretty much just finding him with the other heroes and try and kill him with the Sunstrike. I think that's the best way. Just find him on the map with the Earthspit together with the Lifestealer, get a pick off going, because the Lifestealer has the rage, so you can't really use the Song of the Siren to actually kill or survive when you're Naga Siren. If he gets the rage off, then he has those 5-6 seconds where you can just splash onto the Naga Siren, and if he's followed up by a Sunstrike from the Invoker, it is a pretty easy kill to get, as Naga is not known for being one of the more HP heavy heroes in the early game before the Radiance is picked up and all the other items following that.
Alright, so final ban, EHOME, they might be looking to take up an offlaner, might be looking to take up a jungler slash semi-carry. We'll see what FTD.C want to take out, but either way, I think EHOME have a lot of confidence going into this. I think the Weaver's going to be great at taking care of himself and will add a lot of tower push. If Naga gets space, there's going to be so much push coming up from EHOME, so maybe FTD.C have to pick a last pick that is able to push in lanes, and they're looking for an offlaner. Darkseer's taken out. What other offlaners offer that split push potential?
I would still go with the Bat Rider. Honestly, it does offer some split push potential. If you use the Firefly, you can reliably push 2 waves by just flying over it and napalming it down. Not one of the best ones, but considering they also want to get a little bit more lockdown because we've seen time after time where the Weaver can just be free roaming. Even if you do have the line being picked up, you kind of want to have as much as possible to be able to deal with him. The Earth Spirit, obviously a great tool as well with the silence as well as the stun, but they just want to have as much as possible to be able to stop the Weaver before he can do anything crazy and run around on the map, get kills, and just be a nuisance, a pest, and all this stuff that a little bug boy is.
So, Puck was banned out here. Does that mean that FTD Club C are anticipating that EHOME are looking for a mid? Because it seems like Naga Siren is viable mid. Weaver can take up the offlane or the safe lane, and if they put Weaver in the offlane, Naga in the safe lane, and pick up an offlaner, that's a lot of space around the map. Oh, okay. They're just gonna go for a Tiny here. I'm really surprised to see Tiny picked up without a babysitter and without an alchemist on his team, because that's 2 different ways to run a Tiny. With the IO, obviously you go in and you have that regen and you build him up as a super core and just charge everyone down. But with an alchemist, if alchemist farms him up in early ags, then Tiny has a huge net worth spike at about 20 minutes in the game. But EHOME, it's very greedy. They're gonna need to win, or at least perform well in every single lane. And if not, FTD Club C have a power spike earlier on than EHOME, and they can look to punish them.
Yeah, it's a little bit interesting to see the Tiny being picked up. It's a tanky hero. It has a lot of burst potential once you get those levels up and running, which is a good thing. And it's going to be able to, with the Weaver, buy a lot of time and space with the for the Naga Siren if they get an early Blink Dagger on him, which is kind of going to be the mission for them. I expect that it's going to be a mid Tiny and an offline Weaver. Like we talked about, the Weaver is good against the lifesteal because the open wounds doesn't really affect Weaver because he gets max movement speeds once he does use that Sakuchi. So it doesn't help too much trying to slow him down. The Tiny, though, in the mid lane, melee heroes generally is okay against Invoker, but when you have an Earth Spirit, it is going to be pretty hard for him to at least last it in the lane. He is tanky enough to survive a lot of the ganks coming out from the Earth Spirit alone, but he's not going to be able to get too much out of the lane.
I am having lag spikes galore here. Hopefully it sorts itself out. But for now, yeah, I really like EHOME's potential, but I think FTD Club C, if they stop the momentum in lanes, then there's going to be a very, very cohesive team fight, a very strong potential for an early snowball from the Radiant, and we're going to have to see. It's all down to execution, and again, EHOME is the favorite team in the series, but anything can happen so far. In these games, we've had 2-0s or 1-1 splits with the top teams in China and complete underdogs.
Yeah, I kind of like FTD.C's lineup overall because you have the Axe who needs time to be able to get the Blink Dagger, but that being said, you have the Earth Spirit who can be active on the map before that Blink Dagger timing comes on the Axe, so he can be like doing everything that's needed to be done to be aggressive early on, and then Axe can just sit back, farm, and then he can quickly get that Blink Dagger, and then he can take over, and together with the Earth Spirit, they can do a lot of work. As these 2 heroes, they have a lot of burst potential, they have a lot of like jump in your face kind of initiation, which is going to be good against the Naga Siren especially.
Alright, we have Axe here. I think he gets sufficiently forced out here, does not want to tangle, but down bottom there could be an initiation as Ice on this Naga. Gonna be going through, gonna be taking some hits, but I don't think they go, oh, they get the open wounds onto the Naga. That's gonna be a slow. There is gonna be the Earth Spike. The first blood will come out. Lion takes out Ice on the Naga Siren. That's gonna be a severe delay in Naga's farming potential. She has to start from a little bit behind, less gold. She will get back into lane in time to go through and get her farm, but definitely not where you want to start out. Now, can you go ahead and take the cast? I got big lag spikes, gonna want to disconnect and reconnect.
Alright, I'll take over. It's actually pretty interesting to see how the Naga Siren is being sent to the off lane. It is a hero that has a lot of armor, base armor, so it survives pretty well against right clicks, but it doesn't have too much survivability, as the only thing he has right now is the mirror image that he's skilled up, so he's going to be able to use that to dodge some of the slows, but apart from that, it's going to be pretty hard for him to be in the lane effectively. He's going to only be able to pretty much leech in the lane, and as you saw, the rune engagement, he's pretty easy to bring down once you just bring your forces together and do whatever you want.
Alright.
Yeah, welcome back.
It seems a little bit better now, can't be too sure.
Again, I got lag now.
Oh man, I transferred it. It
Nice.
actually has happened before where, you know, I disconnect to fix lags and then the Russian casters disconnect and we go back and forth and back and forth. But either way, we've got Lanham really trying to get the most out of this Doom, but Axe is so aggressive, and in these early levels, he really can't be punished. I mean, you've got the hoof stomp, but that does involve Centaur getting all up in his face. Now down here in the bottom, this offlane Naga, Super, super aggressive, super, super greedy, but I love it. I think it's got so much potential. You've got those illusions to split up and farm, harass the Lion, but the two supports here, the Earth Spirit and the Lion, have very decent initiates, so if it comes to a point where Lifestealer wants to go in and wants to jump and wants to go in with the open wounds, they do have potential to get a pick on the Naga.
Yeah, it is a very easy hero to kill when they do get a jump on them and use the spells to kill him down. Obviously, he has a lot of armor to work with, so pure right clicks doesn't hurt him too much as he has base armor of 6. A very tanky hero overall to begin with. Wow, I can actually not see anything. It's stuck to me completely.
So, offlane Naga, we don't see it run a lot. Does she end up ever picking up an Iron Talon to hop into the jungle, or does she just go raw, like, fight, pick up her items as if she were a safe lane Naga, just slightly delayed?
I think it is going to be the Iron Talon build with the Ring of Protection she's already picked up. I don't expect to see like something like a Tranquil boost coming out from her, just, you know, going into the jungle once she does get a couple of levels. She jungles pretty reliably with the Iron Talon because she's just so tanky as well, and with the illusions together with her like burst spell with Riptide type, she can jungle reliably. Just needs a couple of levels and the Iron Talon, and then she's going to be ready to do that.
Alright, so Weaver's getting some nice safe farm here. The Axe being very, very aggressive over here in the jungle, taking out this medium camp, taking out the small camp, but not putting a lot of pressure onto the Weaver, so Weaver is able to get farm. Now, how long can you leave a Weaver before it becomes a problem?
The Weaver, the thing is, you can't really stop it in the lane unless you rotate a lot of forces onto him. The Axe is probably going to attempt to do it, once he gets a decent taunt off.
Mid. Toss up, slap down, Invoker brought into enemy territory, will take tower shots. They don't have any more lockdown. The Tornado comes out, trying to buy himself some time, but it's just not going to be enough as the Brain Sap will secure a kill on the mid Invoker, and Fenrir gets some much needed early gold, buying time and space for the Tiny. Really good plays coming out, so that's a 1-1 split in terms of kills, but getting down the Invoker, as he has a respawn timer and has to TP back to lane, is arguably a little bit worse than dropping First Blood Bounty.
Yeah, I'm just trying to reconnect once again because honestly, I everything was just like standing still. So.
Right, full restart, like close Dota and open again. That fixed it one time for me.
Yeah, I'm trying it, but no.
Oh, Axe up top. Could be going in. They don't have the Infernal Blade on the Doom. He's really, really low mana. And now Lion goes in, gets a Hex. There's going to be an Earth Spike back to zone. So Weaver's not going to be able to get the kill here. He had the 2 hits on the Germinated attack, but just couldn't get in range. Nice rotation in from the Lion. Certainly saves the Axe's life. Now Axe is going to go salve up, get right back to being a bully. Old Chicken here. He's going in. He's not getting the most farm out of lane. He's tied up with the Invoker, and when he has the Bane sticking here, dueling up with him, you'd really like him to go and be a last-hitting machine, but both of the safe laners are outdoing him by a fair margin. In fact, Lifestealer down here, 30 last hits at 4 minutes. That is very close to perfect CS, and he hasn't felt a whole lot of pressure. He got first blood for himself, or rather first assist, and he's got his face boots already. 600 more gold to work on. I'm assuming he goes straight armlet. He could go for that casual Blightstone in between, but well, for now, not feeling any pressure at all.
Yeah, he's having a good lane right now, and that's kind of courtesy of the Naga Siren. Even though the Naga Siren is a tanky hero, he doesn't really have any way of actually harassing the lifesteal, so that's going to be pretty much free farm. Much the same way as the Weaver in the top lane, because he's a ranged hero, he has a lot of movement speed, so the Axe can't really go into his face and annoy him. And for that, he's also having a decent time.
Alright, so Ghost will be going ahead, picking up the Gloves of Haste, so not going to stop for that casual Blightstone. The armor reduction is pretty neat, and if he does intend to build Deso, it's a common pickup. But oh, Old Chicken here, Avalanche Toss, he's turning this initiation around. They do have the Brain Sap from the Bane. I don't think it's enough, he's not able to get in range. Now Invoker does successfully force out the Tiny, but the bottle sips up, keep him healthy, keep him fighting, so a lot of aggression spread out in the mid, but no blood falls, except for that 1 kill on the Invoker. Now, oh, bottom. Deep dive onto Ice, but the illusion's keeping him healthy, and that means Ghost missed a couple of last hits here in the lane.
Yeah, that was a nice engagement, but you know, just being a little bit too aggressive, not
There's a nice combo, burning up a lot of the mana with the early EMP. You don't see that Tornado build a lot, but Fenrir with the Brain Sap will be able to keep himself healthy. Tiny maybe looking for the kill onto the Earth Spirit, but not able to go in. Does not have that blink, not even close here, and doesn't have the Avalanche or Toss as well. So has to let the Earth Spirit off with a warning. Now Doom walks on in from the jungle, and will be going slapping out the Invoker, but Invoker can deal with this. He's got those stats with the null tally.
Yeah, you can also use the turn around once he does use the Cold Snap combo if he gets someone rotating in to help him with the Earth Spirit, for example. He's getting harassed a little bit by Old Lannon, but you know, with the Haste Rune just going around being a little bit of a nuisance, but it should be fine. As the Nerd will just heal up with that healing cell, and he's gonna be just fine in the mid lane once again. He is currently actually being a little bit behind of Old Chicken, which is pretty surprising. Old Chicken getting more last hits than the Invoker. Not something you would typically expect. So that's pretty interesting. But I guess that's courtesy of Fenrir being annoying in the mid lane, always trying to keep Old Chicken safe.
Yeah, I mean, Old Chicken getting very, very close to his 6, actually out-leveling the Invoker, and this has been a dual lane. That's a really big thing here. Tiny did get that kill on the Invoker, set him back in terms of XP, but that's a really big deficit for the Invoker to come back from, and it's not like this lane has been a disaster, but FTD certainly haven't won it.
Yeah, and especially because this is a Quasworks Invoker, an Invoker that relies on being active early and not having too much like comeback farm potential.
Both supports. Tiny's gonna go in. He actually starts the party. There's gonna be a toss in, toss back, and Old Chicken in some trouble there as the support is gonna be disabled temporarily. He's hexed up, trying to run away. There will be a boulder coming in through. The tornado catches about. The EMP will burn his mana, burn away his life. One more hit will get the kill. He tries to deny the Ancients, but it's not gonna be enough. Earth Spirit is able to pick off that kill. That puts him at 1-0-1. So lots of early impact from the Earth Spirit, and Bane, left to get some solo XP, could pick up a 6 on the back of this, and that Fiend's Grip is a nice lockdown tool, so even though losing the Tiny sucks, there are silver linings.
Yeah, and in the meantime, we had Axe actually getting a solo kill onto the Doom in the top lane, so he's going to be very, very close to this Blink Dagger timing. He has 1800 gold banked ups, and with the Poleman Shield being in his inventory, it's probably going to be just a Blink Dagger rush, and then he's going to be looking to go very, very aggressive on the map. Together with the lifesteal, perhaps, who's getting an armlet very, very quickly. He's just having the components. I think he actually has enough gold to buy it out now, and yeah, he will purchase it. So, FTD have the timing right now.
Fenrir in some trouble. His mana's gonna be burned up. One more hit will secure the kill once again. Earth Spirit, he's on a roll. Old Chicken slaps him up. They may get a return kill here as Doom goes through. The burn will end up getting the kill. Tiny actually picking that one up and pops a bounty rune, bottles himself up. So it is gonna be Tiny now sitting 1-1-1. Earth Spirit has to give up that blood, but Invoker buys a little bit of time, does pick up his level 6.5. Now back on par with the Tiny.
Yeah, Tiny's playing very well in the mid lane. He's actually out farming the Invoker still. So it's going to be pretty much about what Axe and Lifesteal together can do on the map to be able to shut down EHOME and turn things around, make them a little bit less like farm heavy in terms of what they're doing right now. Ice also in the offlane, doing nicely. He is getting his levels up pretty nicely. He has his Ring of Achilles in his stash. He's almost level 6. We'll just pick it up now. So EHOME, they're actually doing well. I mean, they're a little bit behind in terms of their calls getting farm, but that's kind of to be expected as they have the less aggressive team, and it's going to be FTD.C's time to shine with them having a lot of item pickups coming out now. That's going to make them able to go aggressive on the map. We have the Axe in the bottom lane actually going for smoke commitment with the Lion. So
yeah, speaking of aggressive, he just picked up that Blink Dagger, immediately TPs in, goes for the smoke. They're looking for a pick here. Getting Ice has to be great, but they have to keep him locked down for the full duration of the kill. Otherwise, he just turns, pops song, and walks away. Now, they're going to go through. There's going to be the blink. There's the call. Can they follow it up with the stun, the hex? They are going to be able to get the kill. The dunk will secure that the Naga goes down for a second time. And that's some really much needed XP and push coming out from FTD down bottom. And we talked about in the draft how EHOME's lineup is so conditional on winning or at least doing very well in every single lane. And while the Naga's doing okay in terms of farm and levels, she's giving too much space to the Lifestealer.
Yeah, it's not so good when you start dropping down on the Nagasan, as it is a hero that once you have these base items that he's pretty much having now, he needs to just speed into that Radiance. And every time he dies, it's going to shut him down for quite a long time, as he doesn't farm too well from behind.
Going in with that roll TP will secure out Earth Spirit getting out okay, and now Lanham is going to be TPing down to the bottom lane. We have an initiation going on. There's a song. Ghost stuck under tower. Can they lock him down? The Fiend's Grip committed onto the Lifestealer. He's flailing like a madman and will end up falling. Oh, he pops into a creep. He's trying to hop out. He's going to be still alive for now as Axe getting super, super low. The Tiny wants to go in. One more hit should secure the kill. Lanham, he gets feasted on. The Lifestealer plopped up. Slapped down. They will get the Doom. There's no deny coming out from the Bane, and now Ghost left to deal with a buggy, and Weaver is able to get that kill, I believe, with the swarm damage over time.
That was beautiful. That was just FTD.C not respecting the fact that there is a Nagasan on the enemy team, and you can see what can happen. That he goes in for the song, and that's like what 5-6 seconds where you can just leave enough room for the whole team to just TP in, make a rotation. The Lifestealer almost survived. He was like on 100 HP as he got into that creep, which brought him a little bit of space.
Tiny once again just taken victim here. There is going to be a tornado EMP into Cold Snap. Bane looking to make some space. Tiny healing up just a little bit. The Earth Spirit trying to go in for a solo kill onto Old Chicken. Turns tail and runs as he feels that this is not the best course of initiation. And the Weaver joins the party. The Brain Sap will secure a kill. H2O making the plays. Very nice rotation in from the Bug. And that's going to put the Bug at 201, going immediately for the Lincoln Sphere.
Yeah, now they're gonna start spiking a little bit ahead from EHOME. We see the Weaver and the Tiny getting high on the net worth. They were behind of the Axe until a second ago. And the Axe, yeah, he got that one kill on the Nagasan, but losing a team fight straight after, that's gonna delay what he can do for the next couple of minutes. And like we talked about, when you have this Blink Dagger timing up and running, you wanna be aggressive, you wanna get a lot of kills on the map, especially with the lifesteal being a part of them, with the infest bombs coming out. So they need to get a little bit more done, and every time they lose people here and there, it's just going to set them back. It's going to make the Axe have a little bit of a harder time to find these initiations. And EHOME, they are a very evasive team overall. Isis, you know, sitting casually in the jungle. The Weaver very hard to jump on, and it's going to be difficult.
So Ice hasn't picked up the Talon, instead just farming up the jungle with the illusions, and I actually don't mind this. Not picking up the Talon means you are able to go into those next items pretty early, and saving up a lot of gold here. Are we going to see Radiance Naga, or Boots of Travel, or something smaller like a Diffusal?
I actually don't really know what to expect. The Radiance is something that you would normally expect, but what I've seen in the bottom lane after we saw that fight is like trying to be a little bit more aggressive on this Nagasan, trying to just use the ultimate to start fights. So we could see the Boots of Travels actually coming out first, and then maybe even just completely dodging the Radiance until later in the game, if they want to go a little bit more aggressive style. But Radiance obviously always a good pickup if you want to just secure yourself a good like mid to late game transition. It kind of depends on how much free farm you can get the next few minutes, what item he's going to get, as he's most likely just going to be banking gold, and then once he gets past like 2 to 2.5k gold, he's going to decide.
Axe get denies, he goes for the Blink Call, and it's not going to connect, and now there is going to be a bug munching on him. Invoker trying to zone people out with the EMP will be successful. Axe now has to deal with the Weaver Swarm. This is going to be a stalemate for now, as no one wants to make the first wrong move. Axe's Blink will be off cooldown, he could go for another Blink Call, but I think he learns his lesson, and FTD, they are going to go through, they waste a rotation, they're going back to farming, and that split XP isn't fantastic. You want your Lifestealer to be able to go in and get those big items before he has to fight. He is going to be going in for that Mithril Hammer right now after picking up the Armlet. Very standard build on Lifestealer, and he's going to move to top lane to get some more out of the map.
Yeah, it's probably going to be just rushing that Desolator so you can do as much damage as possible, because like we talked about with the Nagasan, you want to be able to kill him within the rage duration because of the Song of the Siren. Like if you don't kill him within the rage, then he's just going to song and walk away. So you need to be able to have a lot of burst damage, and Nagasan, a hero with a lot of armor, so Desolator is amazing against that hero. And looking at EHOME's items coming out right now, we have Old Chicken picking up the Blink Dagger very soon. So he's sitting pretty nicely right now, as he's going to be able to get a lot of solo kill potential on, for example, a Lion.
I mean, you say that, he's going to go in, but there's going to be a call, there's going to be a roll in. Can they keep him locked down? There's going to be an Earth Spike coming through. They don't have the finger. Oh, they do have the finger, but not even going to need it as Axe. He dunks through the call, gets that extra little movement speed bonus, and that's going to be Tiny's second death of the game, and he was farming very aggressively. He had Radiant Vision here, but nothing to scout up movements over here from this side of the jungle, and that's just a bit too aggressive. Tiny has to play safe. He can't afford to give away these kills when he's so close to his first big items.
Yeah, he wanted to finish up with Blink Dagger. He actually managed to buy it up just before dying. He had like 5 gold in reserve before dying, so it was very close to be able to shut down that Blink timing, and that would have set him back very far. He does pick it up though, so he doesn't lose any reliable gold, and now you can see FTD.C actually looking to make some kind of play here on the Weaver. I'm not sure if they actually know he's there, if they're just waiting for someone in the mid lane.
I think they're either waiting for the Naga to come back through and cast out another wave of illusions, or they're waiting for the Tiny, and well, Tiny is going to be occupied up here, or rather over here walking towards the mid, so this is going to be where they jump. The Blink Call, that's going to be pretty big if they get it. You have eyes on him, they're pinging something out. Throwing a ward up onto the high ground, and TP's back in.
Looks like EHOME is trying to fight this, as they have too many people smoking into the mid lane. We have TPs coming in. Nagasan does have the ultimate available, and we saw how big it could be in the last fight, so maybe they're going to be able to use it again. The illusion is scouting out thing. He's trying to make something happen. Maybe they're trying to bait with it.
Blink in. There's going to be the avalanche toss. They immediately rip apart the Invoker. No chance to cast anything. And I think at this point, FTD have to back off. They lost a huge portion of their team fight damage. Naga gets a deny, and this could be a push onto the first tower. As Weaver laying into it, she's going to be going for a Deso as well. And, well, at least has the casual Blightstone. Do you think she finishes the Lincolns first, or goes for the Deso?
I think she finishes the Lincolns first. It is probably just a casual Blightstone for now. Blightstone does a lot for how cheap the item is, as it does reduce the armor by 2, so it's just, you know, one of those nice small neat items. And as you said, they can't really fight without the Invoker. It's so much of that damage gone with the crosswork style, with the MP doing a lot of work in the team fights. And that was a lot of time wasted for FTD.C, like trying to set up for that gang for like something like 10 seconds and not getting anything for it.
There will be another deny here, so both the mid on the Dire side and the top in the Radiant not going to be scoring tower gold in either favor. And oh, down here we could see a pick as Tiny, he's waiting on the cliff. Radiant don't have vision, he wants to make the plays. He's got the avalanche, will go in with a blink toss, doesn't connect up the axe, but is able to get the kill onto the line. Now Naga, she's singing, will be a free out from Old Chicken. He uses his combo, he gets a kill, he blinks away. That's how the Tiny slowly but steadily builds up momentum in this game.
Yeah, that's what we talked about, as he has so much kill potential on squishy heroes like the Lion, like the Earth Spirit, and when he can abuse that, just get kills done very, very quickly and smoothly, like getting a kill, go out, and then just reset the fight. And that's going to make it very hard for FTD.C to get anything done, because they kind of rely on being there for all the people being there for the fights. And now they're going to rotate bottom with the infested Earth Spirit, and maybe trying to go on the Doom, as that looks like to be the target.
Gonna plop on out, so much damage spraying onto Latham. He goes in, he Midases before he dies, which a nice little play right there. At least he doesn't die with Midas off cooldown. So he gets a little XP, a little gold, but he will end up feeding almost 500 gold swing in favor of FTD. So little picks like that will keep FTD up and fighting, but in terms of overall gold, it's going to be slightly in favor of EHOME, levels even more so because the Naga has been farming for most of the game.
Yeah, as you said, Midas value is always important. He has picked up that Midas, so it's that the kind of like Chinese flavor Doom style where you go for an early Midas so you can get a lot of items in the game and become a pretty heavily farmed core. I like that style because if you can get it early, it doesn't really matter, because early on in the game, Doom's toolset is enough to be active in the fight. You just go in, you get the Doom, you get an Infernal Blade. Oh, and now the Tiny at the river.
I mean, he goes in, the Evoker will end up living through this combo. Now they bring in the Earth Spirit, they pop out the Magnetize, and Tiny has no mana to deal with this. I think they bring in the Axe as well. He looks for the Battle Hunger, but they're not able to get close enough for the call. Now the rotation back in from the Weaver that brings a huge portion of damage, so they are able to contest if there's a tier 2 push, but EHOME aren't able to reinitiate on that.
Yeah, they used a lot of ultimates for them for that as well, so, and Invoker almost dropping down himself to the combo from the Tiny. And Tiny just too tanky at this point. They had a lot of chip damage, but not having the axe get a taunt off just means that they can't really kill anything. As all of the damage right now relies on the lifesteal getting some bashes on, getting the rage combo off, infest bomb, etc, etc. Or the axe getting a taunt and then just culling like a madman.
Alright, the scan from the Dire will reveal that the Radiant Heroes walk on through the jungle, so at least Ice gets a nice heads up that there might be a rotation back, and gonna be going TPing out, and Naga Siren, she's still sitting on a lot of gold, so it will be the Radiance pickup for her. I'm not quite sure if she's going to be able to get it at a very decent time, as she did have those early deaths in lane, but I think it's very crucial for her to have as much push as possible, because Tiny's going to be the initiator, Weaver's going to be the damage spray, Bane's going to be the lockdown, and you got to have someone to go in and make the space. You got to have the lanes pushing out at all times to be able to go in and have enough map space to work with to get the fights that EHOME want.
I actually love, like, the timing is going to be delayed. The best timing is like around like 18-ish minutes if you are a core in the mid lane or the safe lane. Will be delayed, of course, but the thing is, you have a Tiny who can do so much work right now, and it fits, the timing fits the window of Tiny starting to fall off, as Ice will just spike ahead and become like the core that takes over for Tiny's early game, and then Tiny just falls back a little bit, becomes more of a utility hero, maybe going for some 4-star plays, some aura items with the Assault Shroud.
Really nice initiation of the Weaver. They go with the Finger of Death. The Lincolns is online, but it is going to be broken. So the Finger of Death does tick through. Can the Magnetize get the damage? Can the Negative Urn get the damage? He's going to go into the Sakuchi. The Negative Urn will wear off. H2O getting away with a fraction of his health. One more right click from anyone on the side of FTD would have been enough. Now the rotation comes up here. They're not smoked. They're just ambling through the jungle. They will have the lifesteal leading the charge in this big stone golem, and well, they're going to be at least going and farming up some stacks. I don't know if they find Old Chicken, who has put himself in the trees. Toss up to break the trees. Interesting little play from him. Not sure if that was a blink gone wrong or intentional.
Just wanted him to move out of the way, I think. Get away. Anyways, we have Ice getting very close to that Radiance timing, and honestly, FTD.C, it feels like they're just not getting enough out of the early to mid game as they want to. They're trying to keep on getting fights that get done, and now in the bottom lane they're actually rotating a lot of people and they want to get something done. Old Chicken sitting and waiting. It looks like they're trying to bait this. They want to fight this.
There's going to be an Invoker coming on through. Lanham just gets plopped, and that means Doom dies without casting out his ulti. They are going to buy some time by going in Nightmare on the Axe. Fenrir running away, absolutely no mana. Meanwhile, down here, underneath the tier 1, there is going to be the tower going down. Old Chicken buying space, tossing out his allies. And now, H2O going to be time-lapsing back. Will get away with most of his life. There's still a fight going down as the song does end. Ice, Ice, Ice buys a lot of time with that. Blink, call in. Meanwhile, Tiny doing his work. There's like 3 separate fights happening here. Everyone picks a target and goes. And now Fenrir going to be going. The cold snap will end, but can the right clicks do enough? Stick up will keep him healthy for now. One more hit will do it. They finally get down the Bane. Ice, Ice, Ice is still alive. He's got virtually no mana on the backlines. There is going to be the rest of the Dire rotating back through H2O with the Scoochie. They don't have vision. And now, Blink in from the Tiny. Really nice toss. They do get down the Invoker. Old Chicken will pay with his life. He does end up going down to the Axe, and that's a killing spree for the Axe. Axe picks up about 610 gold off of that. A lot of blood on both sides, but the Naga doesn't drop, the Weaver doesn't drop, and they get the Invoker pretty handily. In the end, it's a positive swing for both teams. No one's plummeting from that. It does go slightly more in favor of FTD, though.
Yeah, FTD, they had the lifesteal in most of that fight. He was part of most of the kills as well, so he's going to be spiking pretty far ahead in terms of net worth. He has the Armored Desolator, and is probably going to go for something like the Sanjin Yasha next. He's going to be a problem, especially because he does somehow counter what the Naga sound has in defensive tools with the song not going through BKB, so you can use the rage to be able to still plummet onto and still hit her. That being said though, EHOME getting equal or like just small favorite fights for FTD.C is still fine. As we talked about, they do have the Naga. The Radiance is going to come online in a minute's time, so it's going to be like maybe 5 minutes delayed for a safe lane carry, but you know, Ice 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 being in the offlane position on this here, I guess it's still considered a good timing. And that's going to be starting to be a problem, because once you have that Radiance, your farm is just going to spike ahead.
Okay, Old Chicken just gets punked down as I was about to call out that Axe has his full kit online, the Life Stealer inside, the Blink, the Blade Mail, the Vanguard keeping him healthy, so Axe is ready to go in and do that initiation 100 times in a row. How do EHOME deal with that? Do they keep the Naga farming elsewhere, or do they bring her into the fights when she has a song up?
It's a very dodgy situation to be in, because honestly they rely on catching out the lifesteal, but the way the lifesteal plays is he's always going to make the Axe go in first. He's going to be infested with him, so you can't really get the Doom off on him, and that's what they rely on to actually kill him off. So I think they're just going to look to split up the map until they have a couple more items to be able to survive the initial burst of the lifesteal, I think, and that's going to be the best way to play around it.
Alright, Naga Radiance 23 minutes on top of Brown Boots, Aquila. Really not the best there, and that's off the back of 2 deaths and being in the offlane, but if anyone can get this done, it's Ice Ice Ice. This guy plays the hero. It's fantastic, and I think the play here is just pop out the Radiance Illusions, farm out the lanes rather than the jungle, just to constantly keep the wave pushing, because otherwise FTD have a lot of room to go for crazy smoke plays, and those Blink Call Lifestealer bombs from the Axe are going to get really, really ugly, as even a tanky hero like the Tiny just gets completely destroyed.
Yeah, they're doing so much damage right now, and honestly, I feel like FTD.C is on a pretty tight timer right now, because within the next 5 minutes they need to be able to get a lot of kills done. They need to be able to get something like the Roshan taken, or some other huge objective like trying to push the high ground, because I mean,
it's just a support, and he just kind of I love how EHOME just kind of sit there and watch him die. Like, they stop attacking him, they just kind of look at him and know he's gonna go down. But either way, around the map we are gonna have Ice 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 constantly pushing, constantly going for that movement, and now the game gets harder for FTD because they have to go ahead and look at all their lanes, look at where everyone is on the map, because EHOME aren't going to be clumped up as 5. Naga's always going to be doing her own thing.
Oh no, and now the Doom is actually getting tossed onto the Axe. Also, old Adam just being abused a little bit there, getting tossed on. Axe getting doomed up. That's going to be looking to get that kill. They may be able to sleep him up by Fenrir. Chasing him down slowly but surely.
Back through Infernal Blade. I mean, the bug damage is going to be enough. Weaver actually getting the kill for that, but Invoker rotates through Tornado EMP. Ghost plops out, doing some damage, ripping apart the Bane. And they're going back in the open wounds onto Old Chicken. He turns, tries to get the Avalanche. It will be successful Avalanche, but not going to save his life. Now Doom blinks away, dodges out the damage. Lando completely out of mana. His Blink Dagger still on cooldown. And, I mean, Invoker is fast. He's got the Face Boots in 1 second. Can he catch up? He's got the Cold Snap. That can be big. Now the Blink Dagger, 1 second. Is it going to be enough? Lanham trying to get away, but the Cold Snap procs will stop the Blink Dagger from going through. This could be a kill underneath the tier 2 tower. Lanham juking for his life here. He has the Infernal Blade, will get a brief stun, and Naga sings to buy some time for Lanham. I don't know if they needed the song, but at least they don't drop the Doom.
Radiant's bottom tower is
Yeah, the Doom survives. I think it's a pretty hard kill for the Invoker to get because he doesn't have the EMP damage coming out as the Doom is already low on mana.
Bye,
and the
Buggy.
Weaver actually get okay.
I mean, I
Bug
think
has
that's a
been removed.
consolation prize. You know, you just kind of put the Weaver in a quirky spot and Radiant eat him up to make up for the Doom getting away.
Yeah, Lifestyle, he's just like all over the place, eating everything he finds. Doing very well right now. He's on 13,000 net worth. He has a Sanjin Yash shop, and the next item is probably going to be something like either a control item like the Abyssal Blade or the Assault Crest to be able to tank up, as they want to be able to look for some more objectives on the map. Knowing that the Naga Siren is farming pretty rapidly, has the travel boots up now just for the movement speed to be able to move around the map and be annoying. So if they give her too long, like if they go past 30-35 minutes, Ice is going to become a pretty big problem in terms of keeping the lanes pushed. So they want to be very aggressive the next couple of minutes, and they're going to be trying to do as much as possible in terms of killing EHOME, getting objectives taken, and we're going to have to see if they can pull it off.
Yeah, I mean, their team fights have to be really on point. They have to get the combination of both the Infest Bomb call from the Axe, and then also the dunk of all of Invoker's skills cohesively. That's the only way they lock down heroes like the Tiny and the Weaver, but I mean, EHOME have such a slippery draft now. They've picked up a lot of Blink Daggers on their heroes. They've got the Weaver with the Sakuchi, they've got the Tiny with the Avalanche turn. Well, there's going to be a scan revealing the Tiny, so at least they get something there. And I mean, it's really hard for FTD to consistently lock down EHOME, and the later it goes, the harder it is. So FTD, they need to pick up a lead for themselves now, or it's never.
Yeah, it is now or never. They're probably going to be actually just going for the Roshan soon. They may just decide that, okay, we're just going to start the Roshan fight and then force EHOME to go to us if they want to contest it. That may be a way to play, because like you said, they're very, very slippery on the side of EHOME. They're all over the map. You can see they're always moving around. The tempo control of this team is insane. They're just like all over the place, trying to split push waves. We see Old Chicken like even taking an aggressive position just to be able to push this wave, and then instantly just blink away, TP out, and just force FTD.C to move around on the map constantly, not getting any group up fights got done, which is kind of what they want.
Yeah, I mean, Lifestealer's still sitting inside the Invoker, and Invoker hasn't been farming, so a lot of XP lost here. Lifestealer is 16, so has that big ult. Invoker's only level 14, and you know, compare that to the Tiny who's 13. It's still okay, but it's not ideal. I mean, you really want these big levels, these big ultimates coming out from these cores.
Yeah, Invoker's also going for a right-clicky style build as a, okay, maybe thinking that's the real one, or just, you know, killing it fast.
I mean, just securing the kill and the illusion stops them from getting vision, stops them from getting any sort of push, so it's worth it. It's a pretty low cooldown spell.
Yeah, it doesn't cost too much anyways. But the one thing on the Invoker which is pretty interesting is the Dragon Lance being picked up. So increased range, it seems like the Invoker is aiming to go for a right-clicky build. Plus Wex is obviously a build style that is known for being able to go for right-click items at some point as well. The Dragon Lance, however, is pretty interesting.
Now they are going to get that Aegis on the Weaver, and I like the early Aegis on the Weaver as opposed to the Tiny, because Weaver is a hero that if he gets killed once, it's likely that if the Aegis pops, he's able to get out alive, whereas Old Chicken, if he gets brought down and doesn't have a PKB, if he respawns with the Aegis, he gets killed again. There's no real way to get out of there. The Blink Dagger will most likely be stopped up, as FTD are going to be waiting there at the ready, trying to get that kill. So at least Weaver can bring something to the fight, and is this Aegis enough to really go in and start the push from EHOME? Because it's clear that EHOME aren't on a timer. They can sit back, they can farm, they can win this late game, but they want to get some sort of advantage rolling for themselves.
I think they're just going to stick with these 4 people being in the bottom lane, once again keeping Ice pretty much alone on the map, trying to push out the waves. He's actually going to join up with his team, so it looks like they want to push the advantage with his Aegis, which is actually fine, because as we can see with the net worth, they are starting to spike ahead, courtesy of the Naga Siren getting pretty big. The Naga Siren is close to these huge items that does make him able to fight as well. And with the Weaver, with the Aegis, it's not reliable to actually being able to kill him more than like one time is hard enough, as you need to get these jumps on him with the taunt, and then you can't kill him the second
I gotta
time.
go ahead here. There's gonna be a team fight. Blink call in. There's gonna be a tornado. They're dunking down a combo. The Axe gets doomed up. Fenrir gonna be the first to follow. They leave him alone for a little bit. Ghost with one last hit. Wilson get the kill. Now Lanham, he's gonna be going through. He doesn't have his ult, as he did pop it onto the Axe earlier, and he's just gonna be sitting. He's taking out a lot of space though. Look how much space he's creating as 2 cores have to go in through, and there is on the backlines Invoker taking out the Doom. Ghost pops out of this creep. He's got a little bit of health to his name. The Deafening Blast does connect onto 2. So far it's going to be a trade. And oh, Ice might be in some trouble. She doesn't have mana for this song. This is huge if she goes down. She's going to be stunned up in place, taking the negative urn. They're looking to go onto the Invoker, at least getting something for their time. The Weaver does end up getting the kill on the Invoker. And now we are going to see a Ghost looking to go ahead. Oh, what a man! Just trying to rip apart the Weaver. But Weaver gets the time lapse off, and that means Lifestealer toggling his armlet for his life. Toss up, and just absolute destruction. So it is going to be a wipe on FTD. They lose their Naga, which is big, but they don't end up losing their Tiny or their Weaver. They do end up losing the Weaver Aegis, but completely okay.
No, the Weaver Aegis is still up.
Oh, time-lapse,
he never even used it. Yeah, he time-lapsed it. That was a huge fight, and you saw the lifesteal being a huge problem for EHOME. They had to use so much time just like kiting him around and trying to buy time to be able to wait for the rage to end over and over, and then slowly but surely taking him down. They did manage to do that though, and yeah, losing the Naga sound is a little bit annoying, but when you kill the lifesteal forward, the lifesteal being the top net worth right now, actually getting overlaps by Weaver as of now, but before that being the top net worth, that's a good trade. That's a huge trade for EHOME. As like we talked about, they're not on a timer. If they can shut down the FTD.C and even get a full team wipe from that engagement, then that's definitely worth it.
Yeah, I mean, look at the overall net worth chart though. It just plummeted off a cliff after that fight. You can't afford to drop your Invoker like that in the fights. He didn't really get off his full combo. He picks up the Dragon Lance, and he's going here for what looks to be an Orchid. And what does he priority silence? The Weaver?
I guess it is going to be attempting to get the silence on the Weaver. If you can get something like a Blood Bond going as well, it is a pretty nice way to be able to burst on the Weaver. If the Lincoln Sphere gets popped, they get the silence off, then the Weaver can pretty quickly drop down. As the Weaver, like we know, doesn't really want to go for BKB if he can avoid it. He usually just wants to go for this glass cannon build. He does have 5,000 gold and most likely will buy another damage item just to be able to deal with the lifesteal a little bit easier.
Yeah, probably going to be something like a Daedalus. I mean, he could go utility if he wanted to. We've seen a Weaver run Hex in this tournament, which it was quirky, it didn't quite work out, but just being able to get the Hex off someone like the Invoker that's so spammy could be a worthwhile trade.
It could be a lot of things. Honestly, it could also be something like a Abyssal Blade at some point, because even though the Hex is a better stun, the Abyssal Blade gives you the chance to actually have a reliable stun through the magic immunity of the rage, right? So it could be a thing that, like, it's a cheeky item, of course, but it is a thing that some people go to if they want to be able to control like magic immune heroes.
Alright, so we've got EHOME sitting back and farming up. The kill score is dead even here at 33 minutes, but the net worth has just completely plummeted in favor of the Dire, and you expect that. You've got a Naga pushing out lanes with their illusions, with his Radiance, and you've got a Tiny, you've got a Weaver. They're getting everything they need, and FTD, they're so dependent on having cohesive team fights and cohesive ganks, but they haven't found a lot of blood in the last couple of minutes, so the longer they go without getting big cores like the Tiny or the Weaver means it's going to get harder and harder for FTD to come back.
Yeah, you can see all of the heroes, they are suffering right now because they don't have a lot of tools to be able to farm up the map. The Axe can jungle, but you want to be active on the map as much as possible. And the Lifesteal is the one who's still grabbing a lot of farm on the map. You can see the Weaver, the Nagasan, and the Tiny being like just following him on the net worth chart. So slowly but surely, there's EHOME just taking ahead, and it's going to be hard for FTD.C to actually win this game from now on. Honestly, they need to do a lot of work. They need to get some huge engagement to be able to stop EHOME. And we have H2 actually going for BKB as well now, so you know the BKB, the defensive tool, is coming up.
There is going to be a big smoke up. They have that Lifestealer bomb at the ready at Axe. He's starting to really fall off here. Unfortunately, the scan does end. They're not going to find anyone on this high ground. But, yeah, I mean, Axe is so useful for these early fights, for these early engages when the cores may not want to fight, but you jump in anyway and drag them in. But at this point, EHOME, they're ready to take these fights. Goes in, tries to cast out the Battle Hunger. There is going to be a plop here. Fenrir just gets plopped, and Alana may go down as well. He was BKB'd up and does drop. Now, this is going to be really, really big. They lose the Lion, but they get the Doom. And now Old Chicken in some serious trouble as well. He can't turn this. He's taken down to the Magnetize. They go and they re-engage. They will get Old Chicken. A dunk down from the Axe. Huge, huge plays there. FTD, we said they needed to go for the team fights. They needed to get those picks, and they did. They drop a support for a core and two other supports. So a very, very efficient trade for FTD. Over a 2,100 gold swing. XP near 5,000 coming back in favor of FTD.
Yeah, that was insane. You saw the Orchid coming out there from the Invoker, you saw the Axe getting a huge engagement there, and the Lifesteal still doing such insane damage. He has the Lincoln Sphere up now, so you cannot use the Doom. I actually think the Doom tried to use Doom on the Lifesteal, but it just popped the Lincoln Sphere, because the Doom is on cooldown, and I didn't see it being used on anything else, so I guess he just, used it on the Lincolns, which is huge. Not getting the Doom off on the Lifesteal, and having the Lincoln Sphere overall is a great tool on the Lifesteal to be able to dodge these annoying spells, because that's the only way you can really reliably control him. It is if you get a Fiend Script or a Doom on him, and the Lincoln Sphere is going to make it a little bit harder for them.
Yeah, I mean, just look at this XP chart. It is a hot mess. And FTD.C, they have an opportunity here to group up once again and go for that, because Tiny's going to respawn. If they lock him down twice in a row, that is a big window for the Radiant to crawl in this, but if Tiny's able to sit back, recover from that loss, farm up, get a big item, and then turn things on the aggressive, he pushes towers so fast, and we're going to see what he goes for here. He does go for the plate mail, so Tiny skipping Ags altogether. What do you think of this?
I think the Nagasan offers enough push, the Weave also having the Desolator, so I don't think he needs to be able to get the Aghanim's to be able to push. I like having utility slash aura items on the old chicken as a mid hero right now, because he has the other cores that can do the damage for him. He has the Force of Eel, so trying to just dodge out the lifesteal, trying to just wait out the rage and then start countering it and put some stun combos. Yes, the plate mail will most likely be the Assault Crest for his team, which will be good for him. It will be good for the Naga Siren, the Weaver as well, like the armor for the enemy team as well. So overall, a very great item.
Alright, so again, we are now 36 minutes in the game. We are tipping in towards late game. I mean, those mid-game team fights are starting to wear off in terms of efficiency, and we've got FTD looking for some sort of pressure, but gotta group up. There is a smoke here onto the Bane. Ice. He's gonna be showing his cards here, trying to bait something perhaps. Again, does have the song at the ready if they need it. There are gonna be sentries placed all around. They have dust on the Naga, or rather a gem on the Naga if they need it to, and we'll see who's going to be the first to jump. We have Axe to the Lifestealer inside. We've got a long-ass tornado coming through, and there will be a avalanche toss up. They get down the Invoker almost right away. He's getting super low, but re-engage. Tiny, he's stuck up. He's going to take a Magnetize. Will have his mana burnt by the EMP on the backlines. Lifestealer able to go through, get the Doom, and the Doom does plop onto the Axe. Now we're going to see Invoker fighting with the last fragments of his life. Radiant, they're grouping up, and Dire disengage completely. They drop their Doom, and they don't want to fight after that.
Yeah, they used the Doom on the Axe, but the Sub was used on himself, so the Doom got reflected back, and the Lifesteal popping out of the Axe, getting a good little easy kill as he does pretty much 3-hit everyone he goes on. The Lifesteal doing that kind of insane damage. And he will be picking up something like the Assault Cuirass himself as well. And in the mid lane,
that was Weaver getting punished from being just a little bit too aggressive. I mean, he was thinking, there's a fight going up top here. They're going to push. They're going to get a tier 2. They're not even going to rotate back. It's just little old me. But getting that pick on the Weaver is just really important. We talked about how FTD need to find any advantage they can, and picking up a really nice kill on a core is certainly worthwhile. We see the net worth starting to tip back in favor of FTD.C a little bit, and it's getting harder as the game goes later. But if EHOME keep making mistakes like this, it's definitely in Radiant's grasp.
Yeah, they really need to be able to get the jump onto FTD.C from now on, because the Axe initiating and then the Lifesteal coming out of him, getting some easy kills, it is becoming a problem, because he can easily just kill 1 or 2 heroes within 2 seconds of the rage timer. And EHOME, they need to be able to have at least most of their team fighting to be able to deal with the Lifestealer. As the Nagasan, yeah, it's an annoying hero, but you can't fight without Lifesteal right now as a Naga, as he just doesn't offer any kind of damage apart from the Radiance burn, and obviously that doesn't do anything against the Rage. So Naga just wanting to split push up, not having any right click items so far. Looks like she is gonna go for a Soul Booster, which is gonna be an Octarine Core, just even more split push power. And after that, we'll most likely be seeing something like a Diffusal Blade, just to make the illusions do a little bit more damage, perhaps even like a Heart or a Butterfly. There's a lot of options to be able to make the Naga a little bit more fighty, but the Lifesteal continues to just being a huge problem for EHOME right now.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily just the Lifestealer, it's the fact that he's still working together very well with the Axe. At most games in this point, you see Axe really starting to fall off, but he's still sitting 8-3 and 7. He now picks himself up a Lotus Orb. His full kit is still online, still building up, and he's actually got himself a ton of gold on top of this. Axe could go for a Heart as well. He blinks and he goes for a Call. Tornado heavily committed, so FTD were sure they were going to find a pick there, but everyone in EHOME just kind of backs off, and I think EHOME are getting a little bit scared. They thought they had this one completely in the bag as the game ticked over 30 minutes, but I mean, look at this net worth chart. It's now anyone's game.
Yeah, no, like you said, with the axe being combo together with the lifesteal, I feel like it's a great combo because, like you said, the axe, the kill potential he has in the early game, and like that falls off rapidly towards the late game. But when you have a lifesteal together with him, and the axe can just be the one like frontlining, make sure.
Roche fight is gonna be huge here. Tiny goes in, avalanche out to 3. Roshan at half health and Radiant. They're gonna scoot their asses way out of this pit. They want nothing to do with this team fight, as you know the threat of a Doom, of a Naga song, way too much. So FTD. They're not going to have as much space around the map as they think they can get away with, and now this Roshan is a hotly contested topic.
Yeah, both teams are just sitting around it. They want to both grab it, as both teams they can kill it very, very fast. So they don't want to leave any space for the other team to just quickly go in and take it off. I'm actually lacking white now again, so I can't really see what's happening, but yeah.
It's all good. The scan is being used by the Dire to reveal the fact that Invoker smoked up, or rather, Ghost walked up, has walked back into the pit. So EHOME, they're not going to get too far from this objective. They really want to contest the pit. They do have the blink on the Tiny, so if they know something's going on, they can blink Avalanche into the pit. Now the smoke, or rather the scan from the Radiant does reveal Naga illusions, but it's such a stalemate here. Neither team wants to be the first one to take the fight near the pit, because that means to be the first one to make a mistake, potentially.
Yeah, both teams, they know how much it means at this point to be able to get the initiation off.
FTD blink in! They've got the gem here, they've got to get the Invoker down, they're going to go through, they get him down to half health, but really nice Earth Spec from the Lion, stops in the progress. There's going to be a Hex here onto the Tiny, as EHOME they group up, Tornado catching onto 4, good lord. And well, on the back lines, they will end up losing the Invoker. Naga Siren Illusions doing a hell of a lot of damage to plop out from the Lifestealer. Invoker Pie's back, he's not done here. Ice gets culled down, Gems on the deck. Tiny, he's doing his best to fight here. He goes in, really nice Avalanche, and there is going to be a Doom. There's going to be a Fiend's Grip here onto the Earth Spirit. They will lose Fenrir's life as Ghost just eating away. Everything's going to hell. It's just massacre on both sides. As Ghost chasing down Ice goes in for the song, but it's not enough. The Lifestealer was raged up, so the song didn't really do much. Now the bug damage may end up getting down the Invoker. It will. That's a dieback from the Invoker. That's a really big deal on the back lines. Tiny, he's fighting for his life here. Ghost can get the kill, but there's going to be a toss back through. Blink away from the Tiny. Somehow EHOME are still alive. They don't lose either of their cores. That's huge. The dieback from the Invoker, the Lifestealer having to disengage from the fight, the buyback from the Axe. Naga had to buy back there too, and it is a dieback on her as well, but she got off her song, so at least she contributed something. It really messy fight from both sides, as it didn't seem like there was a clear initiation. No one had a clear game plan of, this is our first target, this is our second target, this is what spells we use. It was just kind of a get in there and just go at it.
Yeah, this was kind of the flavor of having the Tiny and the Weaver in that fight. You know, just running around, getting any kind of pick off you can Weaver, getting the ones in the back lines, getting the Invoker killed, getting the Lion killed, and then like gems on the ground all over the place, everyone just pinging and trying to use couriers to pick them up and everything. So it was very, very messy to look at. The Lifestealer getting controlled pretty nicely by the side of EHOME, just trying to avoid him, trying to kill everyone else, and then just like buy time, avoid him completely, and it worked out. They didn't lose the time, they didn't lose the Weaver. Once again, lost the Nagasan, but she's at the point where she has a lot of net worth already. She's almost 6 slotted, just needs one more item, so, well, and then the Aquila are obviously being replaced. But as long as the Weaver and the Tiny can get a lot of items, it's fine that the Nagasan dies. It doesn't matter too much as it isn't often here in this game.
Okay, here, so it's reached a really weird point in the game where the XP is actually pretty in favor of FTD.C. They've gotten some crazy team fights, but EHOME, their cores scale a lot better into the late game, so how long can FTD go home, or rather go long? How do they end up breaking the base here? Net worth, it tips back a little bit in favor of the Radiant, but it's now planed off about 5,000 advantage for the Dire, which isn't that big of a deal. I mean, 2 big bounties, and that's back to even.
Yeah, honestly, I think FTD.C is at that peak right now because the Lifestealer, he's 6 slot. Obviously, you can go for a Moonshot or something. It tries to replace the Desolator with a bigger damage item like a MKB or a Daedalus, but he's not going to scale too much more. And once EHOME gets a little bit late in the game, they will start up picking these stun items we were talking about earlier, like the Hex, like an Abyssal Blade. And then it's going to be that much easier for them to just control the Lifestealer. They're doing it very well with what they have right now. And it's going to be even harder once it gets later in the game for the Lights to just go in and be this like one-man army, which is what he's currently being.
Oh man, so you've got FTD looking for something here. Their fights have been wildly successful. How do they continue to get that advantage? Like where do they take the next fight? How do they group up? What heroes can they afford to lose? Because this is such a tense point from FTD. They know it's now or never to get an advantage, as just the raw push out from the Naga is starting to cause EHOME to get more net worth.
It pretty much just relies fully on the axe right now, I feel like, because obviously the axe is the initiation tool of the lifestealer, and they need to get a jump on either the Weaver or the Nagasan to start things off, because they want to get one of these big core kills in the start. It doesn't matter too much if you lose too many heroes, because the Lion and the Earthspit, both heroes, they don't matter too much at this point. Right now they're just offering a few stuns, trying to make a little bit of help happening, but they're just easily to work around. They're easy to kill as well from the side of EHOME. So this is mainly just, okay, Axe together with the Lifestealer, go in, get a kill done. Invoker obviously is shooting out some spells here and there as well. Not having the Acronyms though means that Invoker is pretty much a one skill set hero right now. Like, go in, use your Tornado combo, Orchid will be used, and then you don't really do too much else apart from that.
Alright, so EHOME, they're buying themselves some space, and Tiny, he's still sitting on that plate mail, maybe looking to buy out the rest of his Assault Cuirass pretty soon. And Weaver has that Butterfly now completed. It still needs gold for buyback, and that's going to be a really key component, is saving for that buyback here. As if big EHOME cores go down and aren't able to get back into the fight, there's a really quick push from FTD.C.
Yeah, there's not a lot of buybacks on either side, as they're both pretty much just going all out.
Can they get the Weaver? Weaver goes into the Kuchi. They still get the call. There's a plop out. They get the damage here. Now Weaver will get brought down. We just talked about how Weaver doesn't have buyback. 90 seconds, no bugs. That is huge, and that's going to be EHOME definitely sitting back on the back lines here, cowering up in their base. Ice, spring out the illusions, looking for something. We'll be able to go and get some really nice split push here in the mid, but that is FTD really holding on to their advantage late, and this isn't a lineup that's supposed to thrive late.
Yeah, that was what, like we talked about. They need to get this kind of big initiation jump onto a hero like the Weaver, and it worked well. They get the kill very quickly, pop the Lincolns, and then just get the call instantly after. As he is a hero that gets bursted out fairly easily, as he doesn't have any big like sustain like stat item like a heart at this point. That being said, though, the Nagasan did have all of the lanes pushed out, so they didn't really have any possibility to do anything with this push. As 40 seconds now being on the back lines with the Weaver, just waiting for him to respawn. But FTD.C, they can't really push fast enough to be able to take a high ground fight right now.
Yeah, so they're still backing up. They're still looking for something here. And Axe, I mean, he's had that Lotus Orb for a little bit. He does have buyback, and I mean, just looking around, everyone's sitting on a decent chunk of gold there. Invoker, he's able to pick up his next big item pretty soon. And Doom's gonna go for a Shadowblade. Naga does pick up that Diffusal like you talked about earlier. So she's just looking to get the most out of her illusions, and Ice has spent most of his time sitting here on this high ground ledge and sending out the illusions to push the mid, push the top, and EHOME I feel like can do that indefinitely. They've got great high ground defense. FTD need to rely on getting pickoffs and then pushing high ground, but that's really hard to do, as even if 4 heroes go down and there's only a Tiny left in the fight, Tiny can still do a formidable amount of high ground defense.
Yeah, especially because if they are going for the split push from EHOME, because every single place you get a kill, like the only way you get kills from the side of FTD.C is the Axe together with the Lifestealer. Like the other 3 heroes cannot get kills on the map. So whenever you want to get a pick off anywhere on the map, you need to have the Lifestealer there to do the work. So this is something that EHOME can like try to abuse if things go wrong. Like it just like push 3 different lanes, and then Lifestealer, you can only be at one place at one time. And now EHOME actually going for pretty big smoke commitment, trying to find something. FTD.C probably not aware of this happening, and wouldn't really expect it, because FTD.C is the ones getting the bigger jumps, getting a lot of team fights started. They will be seen now with the walls being dropped down though, so FTD.C will know this, and they're gonna rotate into this, trying to spot them out and maybe turn it around.
Alright, we'll see what's going to happen here as the Radiant, they're grouped up. It looks like they're postured for a fight. The Dire went in for a smoke here, very deep invade into the Dire jungle, but they don't find anything just yet.
Yeah, they're not going to rotate Ice to the top lane for the push as well. It is only 26 seconds cooldown before you can TP in, but it looks like they're just going to dodge this fight. They didn't get any easy like pick off in the jungle, so they're just going to push out the waves and once again just make FTD.C sit on the back lines and try and make the engagements. As they have all the lanes pushed in, and then they need to kind of like play around having all lanes pushed in while you want to take fights, which is pretty hard for them to do. As EHOME wanting to get a little bit more farm going, as like we talked about earlier, not having those buybacks up at this point in the game is a huge thing. You don't want to not have buybacks when you're that easy to kill. When you, for example, the Weaver, you saw he dropped down in 2 seconds. You want to be able to at least buy back if things go like completely to hell.
everyone's sitting here. Again, EHOME, it's like they're waiting for FTD to take a really bad team fight, but FTD have been so careful to only go off into advantageous situations, and that's really the only reason they're still alive and kicking. And I mean, 50 minutes into the game, you've got a tiny Naga team, but they're rapidly losing net worth experience.
Yeah, this is like you said, it's pretty much just FTDC playing perfectly around the team fights. They're not making any big mistakes. They're always getting the targets they want to go on. And even like when the team fight starts going wrong, it's pretty much because EHOME commits for the team fights, and then it gets to a like weird situation where EHOME has to just try and play around the lifesteal, try and like toss him around with the tiny, and they like force stuff away from him and just avoid him, and then it gets into a weird situation where you can't really tell who actually wins the fight. But FTDC always on point of getting the initiations done, getting the first couple of kills done, and they're gonna be looking to do pretty much the same for the whole game. And if you can get the initial kills, if you can force EHOME to be on the back foot from the start of the fight, then it's still doable for FTDC, even though they don't have this like lineup where you're like, oh, they're gonna be able to scale well into the late game, but they're gonna be doing well just by fighting it out.
Alright, so again, everyone's sitting here as now FTD are going to have to take a fight in their high ground, and that's kind of spooky. I mean, you've got a really nice Invoker combo that he can drop after he picks up the Ags now, but there's just so much raw damage coming out from EHOME, and they are going to go through. This is going to be the fight to start it off. They are going to get through. Lycus goes in, the Finger of Death committed, and now the Naga, she sings. No one goes down. Lion getting very, very low, burning onto the high ground. The Weaver Bug is not going to be enough to get it done, but now there is going to be the Fiend's Grip here onto the Axe, and Axe, who's spinning for his life. The Helix is proccing like nobody's business, but they do end up losing him. He doesn't have buyback, and that's really unfortunate now, so big picks coming out for EHOME. They didn't drop the Lion, but they did drop the Axe, and arguably the more important pick.
And that was the mistake we were talking about from the side of FTDC, not making any mistakes prior to this. They made the first mistake there because they saw the Tiny on the high ground. I actually think that EHOME, well, they knew that the Tiny was on the high ground, that Lion went in for the stun, trying to make something happen, and then they turned it around. The Axe going in as well, not having the lifesteal inside of him, that's a huge mistake, because you like it's fine that the Axe goes in and dies, but if the lifesteal isn't with him so you can get that initiation off, then it's a problem, because they can't get any kills done if the lifesteal isn't doing it. And losing the Axe, obviously, that makes it a lot easier for EHOME to just play around the lifesteal, as they can't have any instant way of the lifesteal getting into the fight. So a pretty big team fight won from EHOME, even though it's only one person dropping down. It's a step in the right direction. If they can do that again, it is going to be a problem for FTDC, as they already pushed into the base. So it's small things that will make EHOME able to make the high ground pushes.
Alright, now we do have the Dire Heroes rotating in. They're ready for the jump. They want to get this over. They want to end the game as soon as possible. And Lifestealer on the Radiant side picks up an Orchid. They already have the Orchid onto the Invoker, so I guess that's extra silence, but I don't know if
yeah, another use item for the Weaver, another use item for like a hero like the Tiny, who doesn't have a BKB. The Nagasan doesn't have a BKB as well, and with the Bloodthorn you actually get a lot of burst damage, and he's actually instantly just buying it up. So it's a very, very heavy damage item. You get it's also an item that goes through Butterfly, as it gives you pure damage. It gives you True Strike, sorry. So the Butterfly being picked up on Nagasan is a way that you can deal with that without having to buy MKB. So it has multiple uses, and I feel like it's a good item. It's a decent item.
So again, sitting back, Roshan will be a nice big objective here. The cheese on the ground will be picked up by the Doom, and I mean, pretty much everyone is at their full toolkit now. We've got the Naga, who's got Illusions for days, the Radiance, the Diffusal, the Octarine to keep her healthy. Tiny has that Lotus Orb and is holding onto that gem, so he has a lot of room to grow. And, you know, what's his next big item going to be? Does he go for an Assault Cuirass, or does he go for a Butterfly or an Ags? I'm really surprised he hasn't prioritized the Ags, because we talked about how Naga's got the split push taken care of, but in these fights, when the Axe jumps in with a Lifestealer, having that cleave means you get basically 2 times the hero damage.
Yeah, I'm actually thinking a little bit, because I think at this point with the toolset he has in the terms of items, I don't think he's going to be able to go for a right-clicky build, and instead he may be going for like a stun item like the Sheepstick you talked about earlier, being a big item against the Lifestealer could potentially do a lot of work. I think that's the most reliable way to go for, just going for some kind of way to deal with the lifesteal a little bit more reliably, as he is pretty much the only issue they have right now. And right-clicking at this point, I mean, if you want to go for a right-click build on the Tiny, you pretty much have to replace like half the items, right? So it would feel a little bit weird going for that at this point in the game.
It's It's a weird stalemate out from EHOME. Now, looking at the overall XP, it's still in favor of the Radiant, dipping down below 10,000, so it's just a weird spot. You don't expect Radiant's lineup to be able to hold this hard, and EHOME are struggling to get and end the game. I think once they get a couple picks, their push is phenomenal, but FTD, they've stopped giving up those free kills, and they're only going to take advantageous fights.
Yeah, EHOME, they're gonna just play it safe. They know that the Nagasan can just slow siege the buildings. They have taken a little bit of damage onto the tier 3 towers, and they don't need to push anything. They don't want to push the advantage. They just want to slowly but surely take down at FTD.C and force them to make the first move, because if FTD.C is the ones feeling forced to go outside of the base before it gets too late, then EHOME can kind of capitalize off of that engagement and try and like play around it, counter attack, and get a better engagement, not being like inside the enemy base and forcing them out instead.
Alright, so Lifestealer has found that Bloodthorn, so upgrading that Orchid. So he has that nice crit, he's got that silence, it takes up a big slot. Now this Lifestealer's build, he's really sick-slotted, but these items are kind of not the most cohesive together. It's like you dipped and choose from 3 different Lifestealers builds, and he's got the Assault Cuirass for survivability, he's got the Bloodthorn for initiation, he's got the Mjolnir for push, and he's got the Sanchanyasha for farming, and he's really big. Like, in terms of net worth, he's pretty much keeping par with the Naga here at 56 minutes in the game, but can he translate that to kills? That's gonna be the big question.
Obviously an engagement happening.
Tiny blink in. This is going to be huge here. The Ghost Scepter comes off now. Tiny silenced up the Bloodthorn, doing some serious work. And Ghost whacking away at him. He's still relatively healthy. The song from the Naga will do some work. No. Not Naga. Where's she at? She's sitting on the backlands, and we are going to have the silence come out. This Doom will expire. Axe really not feeling any worse for wear after that full duration Doom. Naga Siren, she's going to back off here into the top lane. And Axe
yeah,
back to
just
farming.
Pretty much a fight stopped there by the Nagasan using the ultimate, and then it's only the Lifestealer being able to use any kind of damage tools, as he had the rage pop. But the Tiny having the Eel Scepter, having a force up, it's very hard to kill him in the duration of the rage timer. So EHOME just dodging that fight, not looking to take a big fight at that position, as they didn't really have everyone ready to go in, and then now Tiny picking up an Ethereal Blade of all things. So another defensive item, like, it gives him a lot of burst. He pretty much becomes like a Mirana type burst right now, as he can Ethereal Blade and then toss them up with the combo. It's an item he can use on himself or teammate who gets gone on by the Lifestealer to be able to make them immune to the right click. So I feel like it's a very nice tool, and he's going to be able to use, like, further making the Lifestealer useless in the fights. And as we talked about, the Lifesteal with his item build, like, half of his items is like standard Lifesteal, and everything else is pretty much, okay, the Lincoln Sphere, I respond to the single target ultimates of EHOME. The Mjolnir is so I can be able to de-push the illusions from the Naga Siren, and the Bloodthorn is like another tool to be able to silence up EHOME's heroes that are very hard to catch, and if they're allowed to cast spells, then it's hard to kill them. So, it's difficult for this Lifesteal at this point.
I mean, we're at the point in the game where we're like one fight away from either team winning, and everyone just sitting back. And how much longer does this go on? Because FTD, somehow they're carrying into the late game. The Lifestealer is farmed as hell. The Invoker's still having some decent item progression now as well too. And EHOME, they're sitting back. They're getting their farm. Does this just Lux and flow around Roche Pits? Oh, the slap out! H2O in some trouble. The Lincoln's popped out. He's stuck there by the Bane, helping him out. There's going to be a Glimmer Cape out, and now Ghost, he's going through. Lincoln's is going to be popped. The Fiend's Grip comes out. The Tornado connecting onto everyone from EHOME. They're slapped into the air. There's BKBs out from H2O. They're looking to turn here onto the Axe. The Doom, he's going to be throwing it out soon in 5 seconds when it comes off cooldown. There's the Infernal Blade onto Ghost. Ghost turning, gets the kill onto the Doom. That's the first kill so far. Now Tiny getting very low. The Bane, it goes in for the deny, but is able to pop out. No, the Cull comes on through. Earth Spirit gets the kill now and there, and there's going to be more blood going down as Naga. She's going to buy some more time, but it's really just her TPing out. Only the Weaver is able to live through that fight as he just scrambles away, walks into the side shop. So they drop the Tiny. They lose the supports, but the Tiny going down is really big there, and FTD don't really have to give up much in exchange. They lose the Lion Finger, they lose the Magnetize, but all other ults are at the ready as they do get the refresh and the Cull.
I want to say that Invoker, actually, honestly, that cold wall saved them the fight so badly, because the Lifesteal was so close to dropping down, and that the cold wall kept the Weaver stuck, kept the Bane stuck, so he couldn't get anywhere to be able to use his spells. The Doom, like you talked about, he died like 1 second before the Doom came off cooldown. And that cold wall, man, honestly, it did so much work for FTD.C. They managed to get 3 kills off of that, only losing, what was it, 1 person, the Lion, like you said. So once again, FTD.C just fighting well. I mean, that's one thing they just keep on doing. They fight well despite being in the deficit, despite EHOME having these huge like late game net worth cores. And if they can keep on playing this well, then maybe they're just going to be able to turn things around. As we talked about, it is more or less one team fight to be able to win the game. And now with the Doom buying back, that's going to be one buyback force. And at this point in the game, buybacks is everything. And whenever someone doesn't have buyback, it's a tool that FTD.C can be able to abuse. If they get the Doom killed again, then that's going to be one person for sure gone for a long time.
Alright, now, so ticking over the 60-minute mark, XP is 15,000 in favor of FTD.C. They've got levels, they've got just a little bit more out of the map, but gold, about 12,000 in favor of EHOME, so pretty much reversed charts. Now, there could be an initiation down bottom as the blink, call in, Ghost goes through, he's raged up, they pop out the Lincolns, H2O gets slapped back to base, does have the buyback if they need it, but that's going to be an initiation point for FTD gone successfully, and even though Weaver is able to get back into the fight, that's over a 1,200 gold swing in favor of the Radiant.
And they just keep on doing this. It feels like EHOME is trying to continuously buy items to make them survive these engagements, but it never happens. They always drop down. Like, this has been like the ongoing thing of this game, as Axe and Lifesteal together, they have always been able to grab these kills. Like, whenever they're getting engagement gone, they get the kill. Like, there's not been one single time where they don't get the kill, pretty much.
Alright, here, so, Axe, he's picked himself up the heart. He's still got his buyback if he needs it. And he's really big now. I'm really surprised he's holding on this late in the game. And especially up against these big cores, he's actually living in the fights longer than the Tiny, longer than the Weaver, longer than the Naga. So props to him here. This is a crazy player, very aggressive, very survivable.
Yeah, and he's even going to be able to upgrade the Vanguard as well to something like an Invisible Blade to have extra stuns against EHOME as well. And honestly, like, the Lifesteal, if he can just keep on getting these kills, they're going to be able to keep on doing what they've been doing so far. They won't be able to make any pushes happen, as they kind of wanted to force the Weaver to buy back. Not going to happen, as the top lane is getting pushed in. They need to worry about the base as well. So EHOME is going to survive for now, and the only buyback that was committed was like the one a few minutes ago from Doom. They're not going to be too much in trouble right now, but FTD.C, if they can continue to get these pickups...
What?
What?
What? I just dropped from the server.
Oh. You died.
It's like, it wasn't even the numbers counting down, it was just suddenly disconnected. Oh.
Dead. The game is still going on, don't worry about that.
Yeah, I was wondering if like the whole server crashed. Alright, I'm back on in, as we are going to have a nice smoke up. That's going to be pretty neat to look at, and oh, this is going to be a YOLO. Oh, both scans used at once. Not going to find anything there, as both heroes, both teams, they're going for an initiation. They're all going to meet at the high ground. Axe, he's got the blink in. They don't actually get the call there, but Ghost still able to do some work. Fenrir invised up, and now Ghost walking around the backlines looking for something. The Avalanche comes on through, and Lanham hexed up. They are going to get the nice Earth Spike throwing out the Ethereal Blade, but can they combo with magic damage? H2O, he's
Pause? Okay, that's one way to stop the action from happening.
Oh god. Maybe they had the same thing that happened to me. As, you know, 63 minutes in, these servers get a little wobbly. That's not how computers work, but either way.
Yeah, perfect. Well, they can't handle 60-minute games. It's just too much.
So, alright. This fight's pretty neat. We do have the Ethereal Bladed up Doom. And Weaver in that BKB. It's going to be a very short BKB. It's in fact almost over. Like is still really, really healthy. That Heart of Taras keeping him so beefy. He's got that Vanguard as well. And Fenrir, he's going in. He's channeling up the Fiend's Grip. So that's going to be a little bit of lockdown onto Ags. But again, the Rolling Boulder is still at the ready. So if there can be a really, really nice kick in from the Earth Spirit with the Ags, that's really spooky. Now, Lanham has reconnected. We're going to see how the fight goes in. This is going to get hairy as Naga's on the back lines. Getting ready to join the party, and now there is, again, going to be Fiend's Grip going onto the Axe. The damage will end up coming through. Drop down. They are going to get the Earth Spirit down. They get down the Axe as well. So that's going to be 2 kills in favor of FTD.C. They don't lose anything just yet. Big cooldowns coming through. Can they cancel the TP? They are able to go through. Nice toss. Oh, it was Lanham's toss. They weren't able to get the land onto the Lifestealer in time. So he gets back to base, but that's a fight recap that will favor EHOME. And again, EHOME can push so successfully.
I'll say actually that little fight was just perfect for him because the lifesteal got disconnected from the team. He had to walk around and try and like find the Naga Siren, and then Naga started making the play that won them that fight. He used his ultimate while the rage was off cooldown and just kept the lifesteal still. Like he kept the lifesteal standing still for the whole song duration, and just making sure EHOME can kill the other people, and the lifesteal cannot do nothing about it. Just like sitting there waiting it out, and like a 1-for-1 hero trade as the Naga Siren just stands still, as well as the lifesteal sitting still. So. It's a very good fight if they can make that kind of play happen, make the lifesteal just useless for a couple of seconds while the team just goes in and does the work.
This game is now... I think this could just be a later and later game. Oh, we are going to have... oh, there's a sentry here. That's not going to be good here for the Invoker. Gets slapped up. Will go down. Big kill. He has the buyback, but he drops the gem. Now Axe looking to make something else. Old Chicken getting so low. Will be protected up as there is going to be Ghost going on through. He's ripping apart Lanham. Lanham has everything to lose and does end up going down. No buyback on the Doom. Old Chicken still up, still fighting. H2O as well. Still relatively healthy. There is going to be Doom on the Axe. It will expire, but the heart keeping Axe so tanky. Ghost going through. Oh god, I got the PowerPoint. Oh no, what's happening? Perfect world, please.
Oh, Ghost, he's getting the chase.
Got it.
Finding Fenrir. Okay.
Coming back out. Fenrir does end up dying, no surprise there, but ends up taking the lifestealer away from this fight in the mid, and that's going to be a little bit of push time from FTD.C. They're coming back through. They will get 2 picks, or rather, yeah, 3 picks, and Naga buys back. She's got some nice high ground defense. If they get the pick here on the Tiny, this is big. The negative earn will go through. He can't blink up. He gets 4-staff up to the high ground, so I think FTD.C, they've got to sit back, wait for the creeps, and maybe push here.
Yeah, this could be it as EHOME now having the buyback on the Naga Siren force, as if the Naga Siren will get killed once more, that's going to be a huge deal because that's going to be all of the split push being lost. So EHOME, they're going to be feeling very pressured right now as FTD.C won a huge fight. The Invoker came back. I don't know. Yeah, Invoker also used the buyback to be able to get the kill on the Naga. But arguably, the Invoker's buyback doesn't matter as much because the lifesteal is the only important tool to have on EHOME in terms of like just doing raw damage.
We've got like a zillion Nagas now going into the pit. They will scout out that the Radiant is doing this, and they get vision on how long it's going to take. Old Chicken goes in. Nice toss up. There's going to be the Ethereal, or the Ghost Scepter rather, out onto the Earth Spirit, tossing out some serious damage. And on the back lines, the Roshan, what? Weaver gets the Aegis. She gets the Roche as well. Really nice job there from the Naga, buying some space. Now H2O BKB'd up again, short range BKB, or short duration BKB rather, as Old Chicken, he goes in, he's gonna go in with the Yules. I think they just drop him down, 4-staff away, but he does end up popping the neutral. The Satyr creep takes out the Tiny 66 minutes in. Oh my god, he wants none of that. He does not want anyone fighting in his turf.
I mean, I guess he wanted to survive, but honestly, though, that looked amazing. Like, the Satyr being the MVP of the game right there, just killing the Tiny.
Honestly, I think
on point, man.
Tiny was dead either way, and this way he doesn't feed his bounty to anyone on FTD.C, so that was certainly something, as there's now pickoffs coming out across the field, and again, the Naga Sleep did allow Weaver to go in and take the Roshan, take the Aegis. I don't recall what happened to Cheese. Probably just sitting on the floor somewhere. Someone grabbed it.
The Bane has the cheese.
Bane has the cheese. Alright, so Dire...
Of all people that has the cheese, it is the Bane. But, you know, he's just sitting on, so maybe just passing it on when someone else needs it, but at least it is on the side of EHOME. They have the Aegis as well. And they're going to be able to use this to make sure the Weaver is not going to drop down, as he's been pretty much the one constantly being able to get picked off by the Axe initiations with the lifesteal. So that's going to be a good tool that EHOME can try to use. They know the Invoker doesn't have buyback as well, so if they could get this guy killed, it could be a huge thing. As like we talked about earlier, the lifesteal is probably not going to be the main concern, as they want to kill some of the other heroes and then worry about the lifesteal later, because if they can get the other people killed before the lifesteal drops down, then they can like just, you know, gangbang the lifesteal and just team fight him down 5 against 1 or something like that. It would be the perfect way to kill him. As like one-on-one, he's gonna be too much to deal with for anyone. Honestly, he's just been on point every single time. He's died 2 times this game. He's never dropping down at all.
Alright, so 68 minutes in the game. Overall XP is going to be slightly in favor of FTD.C. Overall gold slightly in favor of EHOME. A very, very tense match, and both teams continuing just to sit back, and they've got to be frustrated. Both of these teams have got to just want to go in for the fights, because they both have the potential to take amazing fights, but The first one to jump means the first one to go down. Essentially, if they make a mistake, it's over on either side. As there is going to be a scan revealing the Radiant heroes, there's going to be some nice information coming through as Axe just unloading onto Naga Illusions, and now the Dire, they know exactly where the Radiant are. They know they're going to come down through this choke point. That could be huge. If Doom gets off a really successful initiation, that's going to be the fight. And now Lion walks into the pit, will find the Doom. Doom blinks back up to the high ground. Everyone on the Radiant backing off for now. Naga Illusions will go through. They do have the blink in. The Tiny goes through. They want to get out the pick on the Lion, but Lion skipping on through. The Earth Spirit helping him out. Now Old Chicken in some serious trouble. Will go in. Will get nightmared up by the Bane, but Bane in some trouble himself. He's going to get slapped on by 3 Radiant heroes, and, well, Doom might be not able to survive the fight. Fenrir getting blasted down by the Magnetize. There's going to be an Ice Ball from the Invoker, locking everyone in place. The Doom comes out onto Ghost, but Ghost doesn't really care. He's super, super tanky. Bane ends up falling here, and Invoker, he's going to be feeling nice and healthy. Maybe they look for H2O on the backlines. They do have Naga going in, breaks the Lincolns with her net, and she's still got her song if they need to stall here. And now they are going to get the kill onto Lion. Old Chicken super, super low. Ice as well. May need to sing, but he will get called down. Triple kill from the Axe here. What a fantastic play. Now everyone TPing on buybacks if they've got them. Everyone just bringing themselves back into the fight. Triple buybacks globally. And now Radiant, they're going to end. They've got to push something off the back of this. All racks are still up. No high ground has been breached on either side at 70 minutes in.
You were talking about how the Axe is keeping himself useful in this late in the game. Going in there, getting 2 calls in a row. Jesus Christ.
Oh, toss in a Ghost. He's doing some work here. Old Chicken pops into that ethereal form, so he's going to buy himself some time. He's again got that Lotus Orb, so the first one attack him goes down. There's going to be a stomp here. Latham getting ripped apart, but again, the magical lockdown, and H2O in some trouble. The Aegis pops. He's going to come back full health, full mana, and we'll see if Old Chicken wants to reinitiate. We'll go through with that Avalanche. He gets silenced up, and now, okay, H2O in that BKB form. There's going to be Stun Strike. Won't connect. Old Chicken briefly gonna get Hest up. The Invoker dropping his full combo and finally gets down the tier 1 tower. And Weaver, this could be bad. Weaver doesn't have the Aegis anymore. Will go down. Godlike streak from the Lifestealer. Weaver immediately buys back. Still 30 seconds, no Naga. But I think this might be FTD.C's window. They go through. They're going to take a full lane of racks very easily again. Once they finally got the opportunity to go into high ground, they rip it apart so quickly.
Oh, and now Lifestealer is just quickly swapping out his items to be able to get the MKB so he can deal a little bit easier with the heroes.
Now, oh, Tiny goes in. He wants to find something here. The toss combo rips apart the Earth Spirit. And Doom, again, Ethereal Blades are going to win games here. H2O squiggling past this wall. They want to find something else. There's going to be a Lifestealer infested into the Axe. I don't think they turn and jump this. Oh, they do. They go into Old Chicken. There's going to be a Sunstrike as well. The Finger of Death coming through. He's sitting there. He's craggy, but he can't live. He's Yuled up in the air, and it looks like he may go down. But no, the song from the Naga, it's helping out as there is going to be Ice. Looking to turn this, going in with the Illusions. Can they go for a pick? There's going to be the Avalanche coming through. Ghost. Yeah, can they get that Godlike streak? It's just everyone running around. Who wants to be the first to die? As the toss up will kill off Ghost.
Kill him.
That's huge there. He does have buyback if he needs it. Now Axe, he's getting low. Gonna be slapped down by EHOME. EHOME actually hold this. They do have the buyback on all the heroes that are dead, but they save their racks. They lose a lane and a half, but not the worst here. Tiny again has really fast push, and the question now is, can EHOME go through and get high ground push of their own, or do they have to sit back and push lanes?
Okay, they have to go for the push now. They want to be able to fight that lifesteal to buy back, because honestly, this is the biggest window they can go for. This has been the first time in something like 30 or 40 minutes they actually managed to bring down the lifestealer. That was huge. I mean, they lost a lot of buildings. They need to be a little bit worried right now. Use a lot of buybacks, but arguably it's better to just go now rather than wait until later, because lifestealer, he has been just unkillable, so by managing to finally bring him down by using a sleep and then just unloading everything they had on him, that took a lot, man. That took a lot of them.
Alright, so Swarm is going to come up, maybe buying a little bit of zoning space, but okay, on the backlines we do have a Hex. There's going to be a meatball drop down as Naga. She is still sitting on the song, so she's got a little escape tool if they need it, but there's going to be 2 sieges at once. This is what EHOME need to do. They need to split the attention of FTD.C because they got to stick together to take a cohesive team fight. And, well, we've got the Weaver, going to be getting this racks. The Fortify is popped. Meanwhile, down bottom, we do have Naga trying to do what you can. Now there's going to be a nice Earth Spike connecting onto a bunch. As Axe, he tries to get them done. Fenrir is melting Lanham. He doesn't have the Doom available. And there's going to be the call onto the Bane. Bane's out of the fight for good. No buyback on him. Now Lanham, he's sticking down to the Magnetize. Gets slowed up with the Ice Wall. Invoker might be able to do this. Pops in with the Tornado. There's going to be an EMP falling down as well. Lanham gets played with here. He's going to get very, very low. Call back down. And there is going to be a really nice re-engage from Old Chicken. Can they get down the Invoker? The Deafening Blast goes through. He's now stuck in the Ice Wall. And the Ethereal Blade, not enough to get a tick. There is going to be a Yules up on the Tiny. Blinks away. Call not going to go through with the Axe. And again, one toss up. Just such a big battle over here with these right clickers. Now Weaver joins the party. That's going to force back the axe. The low ground tornado comes through, and we've got a very, very low health Earth Spirit. Not going to end up burning down just yet. Over here in this top lane, we've got Ice, Ice, Ice almost going down. Gets super, super low. Still no cooldown available on her to call. And, well, that could have been really, really bad. Instead, EHOME, they drop 2. Doom doesn't have buyback, but at least they start getting some objective. They got a lane and a half of rack, so the lanes are actually completely tied up. But oh, the Radiants are going through. Their boots are traveling in. They're not messing around. They're going for 4s. The Ancient's going to be exposed very, very soon. I don't know if EHOME can defend this. They need the tiny back right now. He goes through. Will he get an avalanche? He does. It connects onto much, but the Ancient, it's melting. It's not going to be enough here. The Radiant are going to end up being successful here after a 73-minute game. They're able to take out EHOME's Ancient. FTD.C. They win game 1 of this best of 2. We've still got another one. Mad King.
I am speechless, honestly, man. That was FTD.C. What a fucking team, man. Playing this well against EHOME in the late game situation when EHOME has the better late game team. I mean, arguably they have the better late game team, and FTD.C. they just monstering through this game. I mean, I'm not gonna say anything. I'm fairing FTD.C. from now on.
That was ridiculous. So well, 70-minute game does give us a nice prep time to go right on into game 2. Again, this is the English coverage of the Dota 2 Professional League. We're going to slap you guys back to a match screen and come right back in with more DPL Dota. Stick around.